to line up that end of that line with that corner there, I do believe. So we'll try that. So add relationship there onto there, vertically aligned. That's got that fixed. So I've got my basic shape there, that looks sensible, but I've got a line here that's redundant. Now it's actually a line that I'm using to drive quite a lot of the positions for other parts. You can't have a line when you're creating a solid, just a line sitting on its own. It wouldn't recognise it as being sensible. You need to have sort of closed shapes. However, what I can do, if I right click on that, I can convert that to construction geometry. Alright, so it turns it into a chain dotted line, and that means then that it doesn't expect it to actually generate actual physical geometry. It's just for construction purposes. So I think I'm fairly happy with that. I mean, it's a bit crude, but it does look a bit like a seal. So what we'll do, we'll close that sketch, and then we'll create a rotated feature. So revolved. It's already got the sketch selected, so all it's looking for is for me to specify the axis of rotation. And it's doing that because there's two possibilities. There's this line here and there's this line here. We'll just select that one, and hey presto, we have a seal. Okay? I'm just going to put on a little chamfer on those corners just for nicety. So chamfer, I don't know, half a millimetre, 0.5, and we'll make that 45 there. And we'll just select there and there. Okay. In the assembly. So I'm going to save the seal, save, there's my directory, and let's have a look. We'll call it seal, and we'll just give it some dimensions. So you can have a couple of seals, so you might as well put on the dimensions. So 25 times 47 times 7. Close that, and then we might as well put it into the assembly. Okay, so let's have a look. Assembly, insert component, browse. There you go. Now, sometimes you can't see it. It's because of this section view, so we'll turn that off. There it is. You turn it back on and it'll be fine. Don't know why it does that, but whatever. Okay, so making relationships, outside diameter, inside diameter here. So that's our first relationship. And then the second one, this is a bit harder to pick up because it's such a small feature. That end face there, so not the chamfer, but the actual end face, and then you want the end face in the recess, which is that one there, and that's got that done. We might as well give it a bit of colour, so we'll select the seal down here, select that seal. And I think red would be good for it. Quite often I read red or green, sometimes blue. There you go. So that's got that done. Actually, red next to that doesn't work, does it? That was one thing, by the way. A few people had very bad choice of colours, and I have warned about this. Don't use blacks or dark colours, because it's just very difficult to actually see the model to do that. section that. Section the whole thing. You have to sort of unselect it and then reselect it to actually get the section. And then we'll look at the view here and see how this detail is going. So I'm sort of finishing off this little detail here. Okay, so looking at this, starting to see where these bits are coming from. This diameter here is the bit of the shaft that will have the keyway in it. So you're going to put a drive hub onto here, and you've got a thread here, you'll tighten up a nut or something, and that will push it up against this shoulder. But as it stands, there's a good danger that when you do that, you'll end up clamping it against the seal, which would be a bit of a disaster. So clearly, the end of the shaft must extend beyond the seal, and I would suggest you need to make sure it extends beyond the end of the case, because if it doesn't, it just depends on the drive hub. You don't have total control of this. There's a possibility that you may end up clamping against the gear case itself. So let's make sure that this is a couple of millimetres longer. I mean, I could measure it, but I don't have to. It's 0.5 millimetre, I think, inside. So I'll make it a couple of millimetres longer. So I'm going to select the shaft and I'm going to do that. Okay, so right then, so we need to open up our input shaft and select the sketch, and here we have that feature there, so we'll just make that 2 millimetres longer. I've selected the wrong feature, haven't I? Yep. Right, let's undo that. This one here's the one I needed to do. Okay. Do that. And then I need to put a lead on here for the oil seal, because if I've got a sharp corner I'm going to damage the seal. So if we go to our handout again and have a look here. Okay, it specifies it in a slightly awkward way. It says 15 to 30 and it gives a diameter B3, which it says is, well, it depends on the shaft diameter. I'm 25, so I'm in this range here, 20 to 30. So it's saying 2.5 less than the outer diameter, which of course radially is 1.25. So we'll do that. So let's have a look. Okay, so we'll put on a chamfer on here, and